The WDM, or the Western Development Museum of Saskatchewan, came on board in 2018. But that really wasn't the beginning of this project. We were able to work with Spirit Wrestler Productions, headed by Ryan Andrasov, and with Dr. Ashley Andrasov from the University of Saskatchewan, on work that they had been doing in the Doukhobor community for many years prior. So what was wonderful about that was that when we came together in 2018, so much of the work had been done. The community was on board with everything that Ryan and Dr. Andrasov envisioned that they could share in an in-museum experience. And so from 2018 onwards, we worked together to create a historical exhibit featuring artifacts and historical panels that preceded this incredible audiovisual immersive experience of a traditional Doukhobor prayer service. And so visitors could learn about Doukhobor history and culture and religion and go into the soundscape with that context to really more deeply understand Doukhobor traditions and the history of Doukhoborism.
The soundscape, what we ended up doing was we recorded a traditional Doukhobor prayer service that was held in Blaine Lake, Saskatchewan at the Doukhobor prayer home there. And we were able to bring in professional video and audio professionals to be able to record a prayer service, and recorded both in video with multiple tracks of audio, with the vision that we would actually kind of recreate the experience of being there at a Doukhobor prayer gathering. So the soundscape that ended up being produced out of this actually had 30 separate audio tracks for each of the participants who was there, who ended up being represented by a speaker that was physically in the same layout as where they would have been if you were at the prayer service in Blaine Lake. And then we had multiple video angles on the prayer service recording, and those were projected up along the walls. And so provided this really unique immersive installation where visitors who may have never had the opportunity to visit a Doukhobor prayer home to have that experience were able to actually walk through the doors and be able to be open to it and experience what that was like, and experience the power of the Doukhobor harmony. We also, in conjunction with that, produced a documentary film about the Saskatchewan Doukhobor community. So over the course of a number of years, we ended up doing interviews with about 30 members from the Doukhobor community in Saskatchewan, ranging in ages from 8 years old to 95 years old, and really tried to understand their life experience and explore how the Doukhobor community has evolved since first coming to Canada 120 years ago, and really to kind of explore the question of where it goes from here, and as it's gone through an evolution, how the Doukhobors have kept alive some of their culture and faith tradition, how they're passing it on to future generations, and how they've been able to manage over the generations that integration between their identity as Doukhobors and their identity as Canadians.
As a historian who specializes in Western history, based in the Department of History at the University of Saskatchewan, I feel it's particularly important for me to play a role in making knowledge about the history of Western Canada accessible to Western Canadians. It's sometimes a joke among academics that we write things that 5 people read, the other 5 people in our specialty, right? Because they often our work is published in sort of these specialized arenas to which the public often don't have access. So it's really such a valuable opportunity to participate and contribute to a project such as this that has publicizing knowledge at the center of its objective. We were fortunate to receive a Social Sciences and Humanities Research Council grant, or SSHRC grant. And one of the priorities for SSHRC, being a publicly funded grant, is we have to demonstrate that we have a comprehensive plan to deliver the product of our research to the public. And this project has done that in so many exciting ways. To be able to partner with the Western Development Museum allowed us to present the research from this project to the stakeholders, by which I mean the Doukhobors that participated in this community engaged research, but also to the public more broadly, residents of Saskatchewan and visitors to Saskatchewan who had an opportunity to go to the Western Development Museum and take in an experience of Doukhobor history, belief, and culture. Studies have shown that experience-based presentations in museums and tourist attractions and so on are very popular with audiences. They're very accessible and they tend to be memorable, enjoyable, moving. So to be able to put together a presentation that involved materials, artifacts, images, textual panels that explain and contextualize the materials that we were exhibiting, as well as a very unique and special multimedia presentation of Doukhobor harmonization and prayer, was such an exceptional experience. I happened to be in the exhibit when I overheard somebody say, I've lived in Saskatchewan my whole life and I've always heard about these Doukhobors, but I didn't really know much about them. And that's one of the things about Doukhobors, and particularly about the Doukhobors of Saskatchewan, is that a lot of folks have heard about them, but don't have a full understanding of who they were and what their history is all about. So to be able to provide members of the public with an opportunity to learn about this group that they've heard so much about, and to be able to provide the community, the Doukhobor community, with an opportunity to see themselves represented in ways that actually reflect the way that they understand themselves to the public, was very, very special.